Okay, welcome back. Let's now join Oyeyemi Ajayi, who has a background report to take us into today's conversation.
It's another period for Salah celebration, and as expected, more movement across the country is envisaged. High vehicular movements are expected as such celebration avail people the privilege of visiting their loved ones. For security agencies, it is another time to ensure safety before, during and after the Salah. So, it is another time to deploy personnel and equipment to protect lives and property. Across the states of the Federation, the Nigerian Police, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, as well as other security agencies have set out with the security mandate, reflecting the coverage of all the nooks and crannies across the country, especially sensitive locations, soft targets, black spots and flashpoints that are prone to criminal activities. For the Federal Road Safety Corps, over 28,000 corps operatives, both regular and special marshals, have been deployed to effectively cover 51 corridors during the Eid-el-Kabir Special Patrol, which is expected to commence from 8th to 13th of April 2024. The directive is part of efforts to make the highways safe by eliminating all variables that propel road traffic crashes, fatalities and injuries on the nation's highways, urging motorists to imbibe patience, avoid recklessness, ensuring that they drive within the specified legal speed limit on all roads, as well as desist from overloading of vehicles and use of trailers to convey passengers. Aside these, the critical operational equipment have also been deployed to help personnel in the operational front. These operational tools include radar guns, breathalyzers to put a check on drunk driving, traffic cones and other operational logistics. Now, with all these, can we say that security agencies across board are indeed prepared for the Salah celebration? What roles should the people play in order to have a safe celebration during this period? Guests seated will be talking more about this shortly.
Okay.
Many thanks to Oyeyemi Ajayi for the background report. Now, joining us for the conversation is the Deputy Corps Commander from the Corps Public Education Office, Honey Ogundayo. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you.
I also have joining us for the conversation Comrade Yusuf Ibrahim Adeniyi, the National Secretary General, Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Good morning.
Okay, we have also been joined on the program by Mustafa Agbarere, a barrister, a lawyer. He is Chief Imam, Peace Court Estate Central Mosque, Lokogoma, Abuja. It's a pleasure to welcome you to Good Morning
Thank you for
Nigeria.
having me. Good morning, Nigeria.
Right, and from our Jos studio, we have Dr. Habila Joshak, retired DIG Operations. A pleasure to have you join us on Good Morning Nigeria.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, perhaps we begin from the studio here. Let me ask Honey Ogundayo, what's in the offing? EID-EL-FITR has been pronounced to be tomorrow, but I'm sure you've been cooking something before now and perhaps until after the holiday. So what's in the offing?
Yes, good morning once again. Let me first of all wish all our Muslim brothers and sisters happy Eid-el-FITR on behalf of the Corps Marshal of the Federal Road Safety. You know, when it comes to times like this, we see that there is high vehicular movement and people are moving, traveling here and there. And what we say to people is that we want everybody to get to their destination safely. So everything has been put in place. Personnel have been deployed so that we can have a free road journey experiences.
Okay, we'll talk more about that as we go on the program. Just wanted to set the tone. Perhaps it's time, Yere, to bring in the Chief Imam.
Before the Chief Imam will tell us how prepared the mosque is and if the ground has been cleared for the 2 rakat prayers and all that needs to happen tomorrow, let's quickly head to Jos, where the retired DIG Operations, Dr. Habila Joshak, joins us from. Dr. Joshak, of course, the Muslims are getting set for Eid-el-FITR tomorrow. Of course, of course, today, the late hours of today, some people, or in fact, from this morning, it's a public holiday. People are, trying to get to different places where they intend to celebrate Eid-el-FITR. Could you just give us a sense of what security is like and what you would advise, Muslims to do as they go about celebrating?
Okay, thank you so much. It is true that our brothers, the Muslim, are prepared and ready to celebrate this holy exercise. I would say that the security agencies have actually come together. We've seen situations where they synergize, to deploy men to douse any other tension that will crop up during this incident, because, of course, there are a lot of criminals around who would want to truncate the celebration. But I would say that we, the citizen, must be part of it, because for every crime that is committed, it must be done around an environment where some have seen when people were making preparation, to create insecurity. And in doing that, it means that the bulk will also stop at the various communities, the citizens, the people that live in a particular place. You must learn to find to check out those criminals that are preparing, because it's not possible for them to do that without some tips that has been dropped. And the citizen have a very big role to play. When you see something, you say something. People you are suspecting, you should quickly let the security agencies that have been deployed to know. Otherwise, it becomes very difficult for them to know who is preparing to commit crime.
Perhaps since we have started going through operations and all of that, we'll come to celebration later to engage the chief imam. But let's ask Comrade Yusuf Ibrahim Adeniyi, who is National Secretary, Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria. What's the mood at your various operational bases, if you like, call them motor parks and all whatnot? What's the mood at the moment? Is it busy?
Thank you. The mood is that every part are very busy now for the commuter who are traveling from one location to another places in order to celebrate Eid-el-FITR with their families. But the most important is that we ensure good condition of our vehicle, the safety of the passenger, the commuters who are traveling to meet their family one, their loved one, on the road and at the park at all the time. So we ensure that all our vehicles are in good condition. We have routine officer and inspection officer who check all the vehicles before departing, that they have good tires, their brakes are working, their trafficator, horn, and all other necessary accessories of the vehicle are functioning very well in order not to have a breakdown on their way when they embark on the journey. So these are the precaution and safety measures that we have taken to ensure that everybody got to their destination safely. Moreover, we also ensure that there's no sales of alcoholic at the parks and garages throughout Nigeria. We have ensured that we have a task force and our marshal, road transport marshal, have been mobilized to make sure there's strictly compliance with those directives has been directed by the council.
Is there a directive also to increase the prices of transportation at this point?
You see, The issue of increment of the transportation fare at this point have never happened. And the organization, we don't allow arbitrarily increment or increase in the transportation fare at any time, at any point in time. Most especially this crucial period. We are trying and doing everything possible to make sure that we maintain the standard of the previous cost of transportation fare. They are our customer, the commuters. So seller after seller, all the time we are together and they are patronizing us. So they are Nigeria, we are Nigeria, and we want welfare of every city.
And then because of the rush for the festive period, and then people trying to move from one location to the other, could you speak to us about overloading? Is there a limit? Since you have put measures in place to ensure that the vehicles are in good condition, what about?
You see, those are other issues that arise. There's issue of overloading. Overloading doesn't happen at the park. This overloading happens, people who may go to halfway after the turn, they stop there, and now they are looking for a cheap cost. Maybe at the park, you are paying 10,000, and somebody now say he has 7 or 5,000, so they are looking for where they can get lesser. So that's what happened. That is where overloading comes.
But what
The
about
owner of the vehicles won't allow overloading. Overcapacitated of vehicle cause accident. That is one major thing. That is why in some cases we embark on discussion with the state government. Because the state government will just bring some people, they say, they call themselves park and garage, they give themselves different name. How can you bring people who have knowledge to take over the business of people who are the owner? If you are the owner of the vehicle, you won't allow your vehicle to load or to carry overloading, because it will cause an accident. It will crash on the road. So, and you won't allow such thing. But who doesn't even know how you bought the vehicle is now the one supervising your property. So these are where the problems are coming from. So the owner of the vehicle will not open their eye and allow their vehicle to be overloaded at any point in time, no matter what.
anyway? That's I think that's a different matter that will probably maybe we'll take another day and the whole day to talk about. But since you are talking about costs and people who are looking for cheaper fares, I asked earlier about the mood in the parks. Are people able to afford the transportation fares at this time, considering the economic realities?
Thank you. You see, we say, in fact, the patronage is less, but nevertheless, it's not too bad like that. Because where you have 100% before and now you are having 90 or 85%, we still say that, yes, people still travel. Because some make it mandatory, maybe yearly or annually they travel to see their family. So, and the time has come for them to do
go.
so.
Of course,
yes.
Many thanks, Comrade Ndineye. Let's get to the Chief Imam now, Barrister Mustafa Agbari. I'd like to begin, of course, I'm sure that the mosque is getting set for the big day tomorrow, talking about the prayer, the 2 rakat prayer, which would happen tomorrow. But could you speak to us about EID-EL-FITR, this celebration? What is it about, really?
Thank you. You see, the EID-EL-FITR celebration, like its name, is a mode of showing your thanksgiving to God Almighty, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for the opportunity that He availed you to go through the spiritual exercise that lasted 30 days. More or less like a situation that you went to school and you passed the examination and you are given certificate of completion. There is a day that they will say they want to do, maybe let's call it a prize giving ceremony, or by giving you the certificate of completion of the program. So after the exercise that we have undergone, which entails a lot of sacrifice, resilience, sharing, bonding, including night vigils and daily activities. Now, Allah has said that yes, you have the opportunity of showing gratitude to me, the Creator, who gave you that opportunity. Because Ramadan is a period of expiation of sins. It's a period where you are emancipated. Having now gone through that, Allah says, "Litukmilu al-iddah." That is what He said in chapter 2, verse 184. "Litukmilu al-iddah," that is, let them complete the cycle. He now says, "Walitukabirullah." After that, let them glorify the name of the God, of me, Allah, that has given them that guidance, that has given them that opportunity, so that they show that they are happy. God, you give us this, we are okay. All of us now are born again. So that is number one, a reason for celebration of the Eid. Number two is sharing with people and also bonding. It's saying that our Ramadan has gone, but yet you still need to come together as a community, because we are divided already. But God is telling us that come together. On that day, all of you will be in the praying ground to show your love to one another, to also share. After doing the prayer, you share the food, you visit your various homes, so that will engender love that Islam is trying to preach. That is brotherliness, brotherhood, cohesiveness. So that is the purpose of Eid. That I say it, in other words, that there are two folds: one, to thank God, and two, to engender happiness, love, and brotherhood.
So how should it be celebrated?
Yes, under Islam, everything is moderacy. That is moderation. You don't go too exceedingly far, and you don't go too little, which tells you that Islam is a religion of middle course. Celebration in Islam is mild, because Allah says, "La tafrahu, la tafrah, inna Allah la yuhibbul farihin." Don't be overjoyous. Allah doesn't want you to flaunt it. Some people are out there, they are in their sad moments. So when you are showing your own celebration, don't cross the line. Try to let it be mild, so that they will also not be sad about you. You won't add to their pain again. So in other words, what I'm saying is that celebration of the Eid under Islam is for you to do it with moderation, for you to show your happiness, wear little, eat little, dance little. That is just the underlying word. The underlying word is that you do it with moderation. You don't go too gaga. You don't beat too much drums. Though it's good, Islam is a religion that also allows you to flex, to also show that you are human. After the spirituality, you have your social life. So that social life should not cross the limits of the religiosity.
All right, Chief Imam, thank you very much for your opening comments. We'll come back to you, of course, later to talk more about the significance of this particular Eid. In the meantime, we go to Jos, where we have Dr. Habila Joshak, to give us a sense. Of course, we acknowledge that you are no longer currently active, but you have a sense. What are the usual flashpoints, or where are the usual flashpoints to look out for at times like this, occasions like this?
Okay. What you should do as an individual and as a citizen is to also create the ability to be able to look at who is around you and who are people that are likely to go into crime, because a lot of our youth and a lot of other citizens are in crime, and in doing that, they do them in the whole thing start from the locality, from the villages. And so as a citizen, you must create the ability to be able to suspect those who are likely to cause commotion, who are likely to go into crime during this period. And in doing that, you must have to cultivate the spirit to understand that the security agencies, whatever it is, if it is the federal road safety, the police, the civil defense, and what have you, you should be able to bring that to their notice. And if you do that, they will have the opportunity to prevent the happening of that crime. But without that, it is difficult for the people, for police officers and security agencies deployed to get to that level and to be able to know who is preparing to commit crime. And so, all officers and men that are deployed for this should be able to give a good account of themselves by creating an eagle eye to know who is likely to commit crime. And wherever they've been placed, they should be able to screen that area and ensure that nothing happens, and ensure that they are up to their responsibilities. If we do that, then we're likely to have little or no crime committed during this period.
Dr. Joshak, we'll get back to you. Honey, let's hear from you now about, while Comrade Adeniyi was responding to, the issue of overloading, he made mention of the fact that, this overloading doesn't really happen in parks. And if from latest reports even from the FRSC, we know that most of the accidents happening now, overloading, of course, is the main cause. Of course, looking at other issues, that should be obeyed on the road. But let's talk about overloading specifically now. I want to know what the FRSC is doing this period, because we know that this is the period where people, animals, and all kinds are, lumped together in trucks in a bid to get to one destination or the other. Tell us what the FRSC is doing and what they intend to do differently, during this celebration, just so that we can minimize the road accidents on our roads.
Thank you very much. This particular period, we do what we call a lot of public enlightenment. We go everywhere. We go to motor parks, we do road show, we go to churches, we go to mosque. Anywhere we can see people, we go and talk to them, because we have seen that most of the crashes on the road are avoidable. There are things that, some people call it accidents, which we call it crashes. There are things that are caused by human beings, by our actions and inactions. And you also mentioned something that interests me. You talk about overloading animals with humans. It's so sad that we have seen that people, drivers, they put animals and humans together. It's so sad. And when such crashes occur, it's so fatal. We have recorded so many, fatalities like that. So the commercial is not happy about it at all. And because of that, he has formed a JTF, Joint Task Force, comprising of the police, the road safety, the security and civil defense corps, even the road transport workers also. They're also part of the JTF in order to stop this, because we have seen that, we need to know that we are different from animals. So there's no way you can mix human beings with animals. It's not convenient. And at times you even see people on top of trucks. We wonder, are they thinking about their lives at all? So we are on the road to caution them. We go to everywhere to talk to them, because you need to stay alive to enjoy this life. We are celebrating, and only the living celebrate. So we are doing so much in the area of enlightenment and enforcement also. We also do that.
Thank you. But I just wanted to find out, because while we would say that precautionary measures are best, you can't rule out the fact that things could still happen, things could go wrong. And so how many trucks have been deployed across the country, for instance, to ensure that obstructions, wherever they may be found, can be cleared from the roads to make for free movement?
Yes, we have, talking about, let me start from the personnel. Over 28,000 personnel have been deployed. Then we have all our power bikes, all patrol vehicles deployed all over the country. We also have ambulances, over 93 ambulances deployed. We have, so many things deployed, even breathalyzer. When you go to motor parks, we try to use breathalyzers on them, because some people, before they drive, they must have taken some things. At times they say, let me take one for the road, let me shine my eyes. So, and they don't know that all this is impair their vision. So all these things have been deployed in order to make sure that everybody get to their destination safely. And also, you know that talking about this issue of overloading, when you overloaded your vehicle, the vehicle cannot work according to capacity any longer. So this one has also causes a lot of crashes. Then excessive speed that we see among our people, because just like the chief imam was talking about that time, he said moderation. You know, when people are going on the road, you know, we know that speed thrills, but it kills. So that's what we want people to know. And we also tell people that ignorance in law is not an excuse. That's why we go to everywhere, and we want to also thank NTA for being a great partner, because you always give us a platform to talk to people most of the time.
What are your challenges in the core? Because you know, I'm thinking as you were talking, I'm thinking that, you know, with the sensitization, with the FRSC being on the road, but yet we still see a reoccurrence of some of these causes, or if you like, these accidents, you know, by the causes that have been hammered on by the FRSC. What are the limitations on your own part that has not, you know, made it, you know, has not reduced, has not helped the country reduce accidents to the barest minimum? We still see it, and I mean, it's really terrible.
Yes, thank you very much. You know, we have some people we call recalcitrant drivers. The more you talk to them, the next, just like our daddy here was saying something that time. He said this overloading, they don't do it in the motor parks, according to him, because when you see them on the road, you see that their vehicles are overloaded. So we see that most drivers, they are stubborn. They want to learn their lessons in the hard way, and we continue to talk to them. We appeal to their conscience that what we need from them is attitudinal change. You see, because after talking to somebody, you feel that that person should just listen, because this life has no duplicates. But what we see most of the time is that they are so stubborn. Immediately, you know, when they see road safety, the feasibility is very high on the road. Immediately you see road safety, you say, you should be thinking of your safety, and know that even issue of seat belt, we are not using it because of the road safety. It's not until when you see road safety you start trying to pull your seat belt. These are the things we are telling them. Be conscious of your own safety.
Are there penalties when, you know, some of these rules, or if
yes, there are penalties. That's why I talk about enforcement. You know, after talking to them, we also do enforcement, because after you see you have appealed to them, you have done everything possible, and people don't want to listen. Just like the issue of the JTF I was talking about. You know, we have been talking to them about issue of not overloading human beings with animals, like maybe cows and the rest, and we see that they still continue doing it. Then of recent, some arrests have been made. Some arrests have been, because at times in a truck we see about 172 people with animals. We are first of all human. How can you not? And the animals, they will also mess up the vehicle or the back of the trailer. That back of the trailer is not meant for human beings. They are meant for goods and animals. So there are penalties for all this.
Thank you. Comrade Yusuf, I don't know if you would respond to, because I'm not sure I have seen, you say most of these things happen along the way, but I'm not sure I have seen where they are loading humans and animals on the road. You just see them moving on the road, and so they are coming from somewhere. And second, are your activities in terms of checking your drivers, are they limited to the car park, to the parks? Don't you extend it, maybe a task force or something here and there, to see that what you ensure at the park is not undone on the road?
Thank you. You see, loading of animal, they have a place where animals are loaded into vehicle, not at the motor park where passenger and goods are taking place. So they have a special place where those vehicles loaded. And the livestock, we are still growing, we are still developing. In other development countries, you will see the animal, when they are moving animal, they have a barricade that each animal are being held. So here, there's nothing like that. There's no special vehicle that are made for movement of animal. So they have, when they loaded the animal, they will put some kind of a bed on top of the animal. 3 or 4 people will be on top, for overseeing the animal. Maybe when they are having problem, then they stop the driver so that they can take care of them. Or some of them, when there are some critical condition, they stop and they have a checkup or something like that. But in the case of doing that, so after they left the park, You see by roadside, people will be hanging with 1 bag, 2 bag, or one bag of beans or something. They are looking for a cheap transportation means. So they stop. The driver want to earn extra 10,000 or 5,000 on his own without the knowledge of the owner of the vehicles. So, and by so doing, they took these loads. Some of them, you will see after loading, they will now put extra load in some places. People know where they went and stopped. Are they outside the city?
But what do you do to counter this? Since you know this is what they do.
I'm coming to that. We have our own Masha that we just launched about 2 years ago. You will see this thing is happening rapidly before, but it's reducing. And we keep making sure that we are getting it reduced at all times. We are working hand to hand with the road safety. Within the last 2 weeks, we have joint patrol, we have joint education whatsoever, more than 5 times in all motor park and garages throughout the country, in order to educate our driver over their civic responsibility of movement of goods and passengers from one place to another part of the country. But the issue of loading human being and animal, it doesn't happen at the park. It is outside the cities. So, and we have people who move after the city, but about 10, 20 kilometers away from the city, that is where they stop. You don't cross border. You move from Bauchi to Jos to be stopping their vehicle. No, it doesn't happen. So that is the fact. But we are working to ensure that these things have been totally eradicated.
All right. Talking about eradicating, some of these behaviors on the road. Honey, I would like to get back to you. I asked you about the penalties earlier, and you said, well, there are penalties. Would you say that these penalties are stiff enough? Because the thought would be that if one person is dealt with, or if a driver, or if passengers, are, the penalties are stiff enough, I'm sure that would send, warning to other people, whether overloading, whether overspeeding, whatever it is, or, or your vehicle not being worthy enough to be on the road and all of that. Would you say that these penalties, as designed by the Corps, is sufficient? Then 1. 2, how do you deal with officers of the Corps who overlook, or if you like, who encourage, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, these people to continue in such acts?
Thank you very much. Let me start from the last one. Talking about maybe some officers that are compromising on the road. I want to believe that's what you are talking about. In road safety, we have zero tolerance for bribery and corruption. So then our officers are being trained. Though I cannot say maybe we have 1 or 2 persons that are doing the wrong thing, but the fact is that we have professionals and they are being trained to do the right thing on the road at all times. So in case we now have one person or the other, there is a way that the Corps used to deal with them. But the thing is that everybody has been trained to be a professional and to do their work professionally on the road. Now, talking about the issue of maybe the penalties, what we tell people is attitudinal change, what we really need from them. Because some people, if you charge them 50,000, it might not mean anything to them. They can just even want to tell you, how much is it? How much is your fence? Okay, 50,000, let me pay. But what we are talking about is not about the money. We are talking about the attitudinal change, to know that this life has no duplicates. In the FRST balance, when we get to a crash scene, what we ask is not who is right, but who is left, so that we can quickly rescue them to the hospital. So what we are telling people is that life has no duplicates. If you lose it on the road, that's the end. Your family, your loved ones, they'll be taken over by another person. So what we tell people is that we want them to have a change of attitude. It's not about the money, because so many people, they can afford the money. If you say, okay, for this offense you are paying 100,000, they will just pay the 100,000 and continue with what they are doing. But what we are saying is that we want attitudinal change from people, because people are dying on the road and it's not acceptable by us.
Okay, thank you very much, Honey. Let me get back to Chief Imam Agbariri. I often hear people say that the EID-EL-FITR is the small Salah. Now, why is it called the small Salah? Is it just because of the absence of rams, which is almost compulsory in the other one? Why is this? What is the significance of the Eid-el-Fitr?
Well, it is, thank you. It's not a small salah. That is just the common parlance that our people utter in order to describe it. Just like what is said. Maybe they want to ascribe it to the fact that there is no any animal that is being sacrificed in this one, because that one is being signposted by the fact that you are going to offer something to God, and people will come to gather in your home to come and share with you. But in this one, it is called Eid-el-FITR, the celebration of opening the mouth. Fitr is just like iftar. Iftar, when we are breaking the fast in the evening, we call it iftar. Now, fitr also means opening the mouth, meaning that you stop the fasting that time. That is what is imposed, and that is what it means. The significance of it, just like what I said earlier, is that you are thanking God. You know, the other one too, the Eid-el-Adha, that is Eid-el-Kabir, the big one. That one has Eid-el-Kabir.
You have also agreed that it's a big one.
No, we call it Eid-el-Kabir. Yes, I will subscribe to that. But in this one, you don't call it Eid-el-Sagir, because Sagir is the small. This one, you only call it Eid-el-Fitr. But the other one, Eid-el-Kabir. Now, the variables that you have among the two is that, you know, this one, you sacrifice, because God said that I should sacrifice a child. And in place of that your child, God say, okay, I'm giving you a ram so that you sacrifice for me, for your resilience, for your faith, for your humbleness, for your loyalty. In this one, we are celebrating the spiritual journey that we have done without accidents. A journey free of death, free of crisis on the road. And we got to our destination. The destination is today, more or less.
As well as overloading of food.
No, you know, when we are doing in this one, we are moderate. That is why Ramadan is about reduction in consumption. Moderation. Even your traveling speed, the speed at which you are walking will reduce. The speed of your evils, we have to you even cut it. That is the lightning, the linkage between this and road usage that we are talking about, the accident on the road. That is, that Ramadan was a journey that we did, devoid of accidents, devoid of overloading, in compliance with all the rules of the road, with all the do's and the don'ts. Then when we get to the end of the journey, you get home. Of course, you have to thank God that, hey, I arrived safely, without being caught by road safety, without being caught by any marshal, without being taken for any penalty. So that is the essence of tomorrow. Showing your gratitude.
So what you are celebrating is total.
Is total gratitude to God for the abundance that you have earned during the spiritual journey that you embarked upon. Some people did not get to the end of it. I will emphasize on what Allah says about it. He says, complete the cycle. Get to the destination. Go out and chant the name of God for the guidance that He has sustaining you. Number two, I will also tell you that when Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, our prophet, when he got to Medina, he found that the people in Medina have special 2 days that are designated for play. And they were doing that thing before the advent of Islam. So when he came, he saw them just playing on that day. And he asked them, Ya al-Madina, you people of Medina, why are you playing? They said that is how they have been doing it. He said, Qad abdalakum rabbukum hadain al-yawmaini biyawm al-Eid. Al-Eid-el-Adha wal-Eid-el-Fitr. He said, oh people, because Islam, when it takes something off you, it will give you the better one. He says, oh people, God has replaced those play days for you with 2 days of celebration. Number one is the Eid-el-Fitr, the one we are to do tomorrow, and the second one is Eid-el-Adha, the one for sacrifice. So is the significance of it. If you go through it deeply, you see that he has spirituality and he has socialism. The social of it is that we should not just always be doing the religion. After some, you have to pause and have your time to celebrate, to show your happiness, to relate with people, to also offer thanks to God Almighty.
So, Imam, you have talked about the celebration and you have mentioned moderation,
Yes.
you know, as the main thing while they go about celebrating. But could you also speak to what happens these days? You know, because when you look around, you know, despite the economic realities, you see that people go the extra mile. Some don't mind getting money from anywhere just to make sure that, you know, they wear new clothes, they do all kinds of things just to celebrate. Would you say that in the spirit of arriving safely, like you have said, you can go, you know, overboard just to show how happy you are?
Particularly if you can afford it.
Yes, get it right from Ramadan. Ramadan is keeping lunch. During the month of Ramadan, we don't do lunch. In fact, more or less like we are doing just 1 meal per day. We only do more of water. It tells you the economy of saving as against consumption. Okay. So in the economy of saving, now you are gulping. That is why you are wallowing in poverty. You can live with little. That is why you also need to consider the moderation. God, that training is about not only spirituality, it's about even the economy. It's telling you, reduce your consumption. Instead of that, share with people. It's telling you, bond with people, share love. You understand me? Now, that also now leads me to the issue of the question you now ask me. We want to do Salah. How can you go and borrow? How can you go and steal? That is the crime that our DCP, what do you call it, DIG, retired, was talking about. You should not commit crime because you want to celebrate. It is forbidden. Allah says, Al-halal bayyin, wal-haram bayyin. The lawfulness is clear. The unlawfulness is also clear. So Islam forbids you to go. In fact, the issue of Zakat al-Fitr that we are doing today, that is when we are sharing staple foods to people. For instance, we say that a Zakat al-Fitr has to be given out to the less privileged. But if you don't have capacity, you don't need to go and borrow. Okay. That means you are also a recipient. You have now come to be a recipient.
So others can actually reach out to you.
People can reach out to you and now give you the food that are, okay, use this one in your home. So Islam, and we should not forget that the lessons of Ramadan is that we should not do evil. Say evil, say no evil, see no evil, do no evil. And that is what we train for. So if on the day of Eid, you breach the protocol that you have earned, it means you have not learned anything. And I tell you, all the schools that we went to, we are applying what we got in school at the post-school era. Meaning that our school only trains us for what we are going to meet in the society after school. Now, after Ramadan, Ramadan has trained us to be economical, to also be pious, be conscious of God, to also be in good terms with our brothers. So it tells you that even after Ramadan, we should apply that thing. In the case of traveling, we should not overspeed. We should not kill one another. Allah says, "La taqtulu anfusakum." Don't kill one another. He also says something which is very critical. La tuliku bi aydikum ila tahaluka. Don't use your hand to buy destruction. Driving is safety. Driving is to take you from one place to another. Why would you now use your hand to kill yourself? He says, in fact, though it's a kind of metaphor. La tuliku bi aydikum ila tahaluka. Don't take your hand to kill, to destroy yourself. So it tells you that even Ramadan, which is a month of Al-Quran, and Al-Quran being the manual of the Muslims, we should be compliant with all the rules of Al-Quran and all the don'ts of Al-Quran and the do's. So in view of that, don't kill yourself. Don't drive at speeds. Don't overload your vehicle. Don't even carry animal and women, because it's not good. They are different species. Don't carry them together. Live humanly. Let animal live in the animal world. So that is my own take on this thing.
All right, let's get to Jos. Thank you so much, Barrister Agbarere. Comrade Adeni, Dr. Joshak, the retired DIG operations, who joins us from Jos. I'd like to, you've heard the Chief Imam talk about, moderation and what Islam teaches and how EID-EL-FITR should be. Unfortunately, that's not what we get to see in reality. A lot of people, take it, overboard, and they want to do extra, want to go by every means just to be able to get whatever it is to celebrate EID-EL-FITR. I want you to give me. Initially, I asked you about the sense of security in the country at the moment and what you think Muslims should do just so they can have a safe EID-EL-FITR. But now, tell us specifically areas where you think, as Nigerians, away from Muslims, what we could actually do, our lives and our acts that could help us have a safer Nigeria. Beyond EID-EL-FITR, just any day, we could, say that we have a safe state or have a safe country.
It is very unfortunate that our young growing ones and some other people that have also joined have been tormenting them, the various communities, with kidnapping and all kind of crimes. The situation is not palatable, and until we as citizens develop interest in getting to the root within your community as to exactly what is happening, because these individuals live in the community. These individuals also have relations, and so what we need to do is all of us, because the security is and safety is the responsibility of everyone, and therefore when you have the security around you, you should be able to take them into confidence, rally around them, and give them some of the tips and information and observation that you've met in the community. And this is exactly what we expect that should play during this celebration of a holy one after the fasting. So what it is that for us to reduce this crime, government should look at another way of maybe making the punishment for some of this crime very, very high. Otherwise, a lot of them do not take it serious. And so almost everybody in most of the communities have gone into a lot of crime and criminality, things like, as I said before, kidnapping for ransom, stealing, and attack of individuals. And so I think what we need to do is that the community must be involved, and the capacity of the security agencies must be tested, and more of the logistics and training and deployment, covering areas where they're still very porous. There are a lot of communities that security have not reached. So we should look at that and fill the gap. If we fill the gap and work and give trust, build trust in the communities, we're likely to have a very good outing by getting to the root of those criminals and pick them up, and then a good punishment, a punishment that everybody would want to run away from, is applied. Without that, there are issues and there are insecurity in most of the places in this country that we need to do something quickly.
Okay. Dr. Abila Joshak, thank you very much for your comments. Let me get back here in the studio to Comrade Adeniyi. I would like to know the level of collaboration between your organization and, agencies of government, relevant agencies of government like the FRSC, maybe NSCDC, and all of that, even if it's in the area of enlightening your drivers.
Thank you. We have a working synergy, most especially the road safety corps. In everything they do, we have been carried along, and we have been working with them hand to hand. Every now and then we bring innovation on renewed safety on transportation system in Nigeria. Of recent, we lost National Automotive Safety Kit. We launched post-crisis scheme. All these are measures of safety and which we carry road safety along. And the road safety corps on their own, every week we have workshop or seminar together at our motor parks in all states of federation, different states of federation, and in sometimes in regional area we have a workshop and seminar that we attend together at all the time. We keep working to ensure that we build on the safety capacity of our country and our motorists at all the time. So the NCDC are also working with us for the safety where it is necessary, where to collaborate and work together, we do, and discuss the safety of the property, of the vehicle, and the commuter on the road at the park at all the time. We work together. So most especially road safety, we have good relations and working together at 100%. Because everything they do, they invite us and we attend. We have never failed.
All right, thank you so much, Comrade Adeniyi. If you say you're working in synergy with the FRSA, then of course one would be surprised why the drivers still get to engage in certain acts that shouldn't be on the road. But could you speak to us about what the relationship between you are the National Secretary General of the RTEAN. Relationship between the leadership and the drivers. With the present economic realities, the price of petrol, diesel, and all of that. What are the? It's called taxes. So what do they pay? Dues.
Yes.
Okay. Could you let us know what the dues are like? Are your members satisfied with how much they get to pay as dues? Are they comfortable with the rules that they have to obey? Being members of the RTEAN. Could you just speak to us in that light? Because we've heard cases of drivers complaining that the leadership of the road transport workers sometimes make them act the way they do, either the way they treat passengers, the way they behave on the road, trying to get more passengers, maybe because half of what they have gotten from the transport fare has gone to dues and all of that. Speak to us about that.
Thank you. You see, this an issue that you need to know what are exactly the type of driver we have. Because we came to the drivers issue. We have three categories of drivers. We have commission drivers. We have self-employed driver. Commission driver are those who our member, give them vehicle and give them a mandatory, this is what you bring. So when they leave the premises of the owner, they are the owner of those vehicles. They decide what to do or what they don't do. They have been given those vehicles on trust. And we have self-employed driver, those who own the vehicle and drive it by themselves. And we have a wages earning driver, those who work and have a fixed salary. And now, these drivers you are seeing on the road, and most especially because of the condition or the situation in the country, some people are not original driver, but they were being forced to be carrying passenger or to being compelled because of the hardship into doing the transportation, which they don't even come to the parks. They pick along the roads. And they want to meet up with the cost of fueling and other things, and at the end of the day, or something for their own sustainable. So whereby they're supposed to take 4 passengers, they will now take 6. 2 at the front, 4 at the back. In Nigeria, nowhere where road transport worker or road transport employer association of Nigeria or any other organization
who are working under labor can allow 2 passengers to sit in front of their vehicle, 4 or 5 at the back seat? No, never. But this thing occur. In Abuja, for example, the moment you pass Guri or you after Bagbalada, you still see people standing by the roadside under the shade of tree with their baggages, with their luggages.
But
So,
speak to us about the dues, the charges. Does it have a human face?
Now the charges, I'm coming to that. I'm taking it one by one. The charges is that it is not the union particularly. The union have rule and regulation. We road transport, we are the owner of the vehicle. We don't even allow driver to decide. The owner decide what they pay. It's a ticketing and it's once a day. And when you pay in Abuja, you go to Lagos, that is still in effect. So those who are collecting money, it is consultants. We are working with humanity or humanitarian aspect of this system. It's in our constitution. But there's other people who are coming now. They want to generate revenue for local government. They want to do this. Local government give consultancy to people who doesn't even know how they run the transportation system. They are charging, extra charging. We are complaining. Even some time ago, an IG had to help us to set up a task force to arrest those people putting this on the road, collecting excessive money. It's not from the union.
Which union now? Because you have
the union. We are road transport employer. We are the owner of the vehicle. We have the National Union of Road Transport Workers. They are drivers.
Okay.
So they are two different. We are the owner of all commercial vehicles that are engaged in transportation industry in this country. And we have National Union who are the drivers of the vehicle.
So those are two unions and you have to pay dues here and there.
So, but this is our own side. So we don't have any excessive or arbitrary increment on the transportation or charge the driver to pay money. No.
All right. Thank you very much, Comrade Adeni. We'll pause here for a break so that when we return, we'll continue the conversation to the last lap of the program. Please stay with us. Okay, glad to know you're still there. This is Good Morning Nigeria on the network service of the NTA, where we have been discussing preparations for the EID-EL-FITR. Let me ask Honey, I asked earlier before we went on break, I wanted to know if the FRSC has deployed tow trucks on the roads across the country to help, because while we talk about preventive measures, you can't also rule out the fact that there could be mishap here and there. And so are there tow trucks on the roads to help decongest the roads of, such vehicles?
Yes, very well. We have deployed about 23 tow trucks along the critical corridors, because we have seen that most of the time there's something we call a secondary crash. That is, say, if there are obstructions on the road and you didn't remove them in good time, it can lead to another crash. Mm-hmm. That's why we try to tell people that even night journeys is not advisable. So because in the night you cannot see very well, but because of the commercial has deployed over 23 tow trucks, so that in case there's any obstruction, they can quickly remove them. And also we try to tell people that in case you are going on the road and you see anything that needs our attention, maybe obstruction, traffic gridlock or whatever, we have a toll-free number. 122 is the number to call.
All right, thank you so much for that information, Honey. I'd like to get to the Chief Imam now, Barrister Mustafa Agbari. I want you to just give us a feel of what's happening in mosques across the country, or if you like, across the world today in preparation for EID-EL-FITR tomorrow. Tell us what the preparation is usually like, and then tell us what a typical day of a Muslim should be on tomorrow. That's EID-EL-FITR. So, just give us a lineup of things that are likely going to happen.
Yes, today is the last day of the Ramadan. So there is nothing. We're not going to do Taraweeh. We do a night prayer session after the breaking of the fast. The normal obligatory prayer will be Maghrib and Isha. They will now do another 10 laps, maybe from 8:30 to 9 or 9:30. So that one will cease. Is no longer observable. So that one stopped today. Now for tomorrow, what Islam expects a Muslim to do is, number one, prepare for going to the Eid. Don't forget to do the Zakat al-Fitr, taxation in food, to share food to the needy ones, to the indigents, to the half-nots. You share to them, and what are you sharing? You share for yourself, share for your family or your dependents. How do you share it? We call it sai, that is the mudu. Mudu is like a full ants of food in 4 places. That one will be done as a quantum for one person. When you do it for yourself, you do it for your wife, for your children, and other dependents that are with you. You do that without take that one out to go and share to the people that you know within the community that will need it more. We have them in abundance in our communities now. You don't need to go to another community for you to do that. Share with the people close to you. That will bring the love that we want. That will bring good neighborliness to you. That is what our religion is preaching. Number 2, some people were with the postulation that you can do it in money. You can quantify it in money. Yes, that one has 2 schools of thought. The first school is that it should be done in the tradition of the prophets. Okay. The zakat, the normal zakat, the one we do in money, that one is a different zakat. It's a species on its own. But this one is a zakat in food. So why will you make it in money? Though on one of my conversations that I had in the NTA during the time of COVID, I said that time that you can't go out with food. Because of the exigency of that time, you can quantify it in money and give it out. But this one, I go with the school of thought that says that I should be given in the staple foods that are the community will need, in food that they will eat. Some people are out there, they are even sad that our Ramadan is ending. So they want food, the Ramadan to continue because people are sharing with them.
Continue to get.
Now, when you give them that thing today, it's fine. Now, don't let it exceed prayer session. When it exceeds prayer session, you won't earn the reward of giving out the food. You have to do it before the prayer time. That is why it is expected that we delay the prayer time for tomorrow. You delay it so that it will be like 10, 9:30. People will have shared the food before going to the mosque. Prophet says that man adda qabla salat fahiya zakat al-fitri wa man adda ba'da salat fahiya sadaqa. If you give it before the prayer session, before the 2 rakats that we are going to do tomorrow, that is the zakat. If you do it after the prayer, that is just the sadaqa, alms giving, the normal one. What is the essence of that zakat under Islam? Number 1, it will cleanse all the inadequacies that you might have committed during the fasting. You have, as a human being, you are fallible. You drift at times mindedly. You go into another world thinking of evils. But that zakat will now cleanse all the errors that you committed. And Prophet said that the other side of it is tunuma lil fukara. It is a good food to share with people. We are talking of palliative in this country. Share food. And you know, nowadays, what we are crying of is that we are having shortage of food. Everybody is saying rice is high, this is high. You understand me? Now, this is a good time for that thing to circulate. Meaning that it will bring down the hardship. It will be like a palliative that will soften the crisis that our people are going through. That is that. Then you purify yourself before going out. Purify yourself and be chanting the names of Allah, the glory of Allah, the hymns. Sorry. Do subhanallah wa bihamdi subhanallah al-azim as we are going to the Eid praying ground. Eid praying ground is an open place, unlike the mosque that you have. That one will be a bigger open space. You can see on the road to the airport.
So there won't be any activity in the mosque?
No, I will tell you the activities. I want to tell you about how that place is. That place will be different to the mosque that you have close to you. We are not going to do it in the National Mosque. We are doing it in an open ground along Airport Road, the one that is facing the National Cemetery. That is the Eid
close
praying
to
ground.
the city gate.
Very good. That is the praying ground. It will be a ground. That is how Prophet did it. We go there, we observe two standings, two prayers. The Imam will recite aloud. People will hear. And after that, there will be what we call sermon. Sermon is a conversation to the community. We are lacking that. That is why I go with the idea that my sister was saying the other time, that you are giving us this platform. It's a platform to address the people. Tell them, after Ramadan, there is a life. Continue with the ideals of Ramadan. Don't do evil. Don't steal. Don't kill. Love your nation. Work together to engender brotherliness between the Christian, Muslims, and other religious what do you call it, practitioners in the country. Try to live within the boundaries. Don't commit any offenses, because laws are available and courts of law are there to sentence you, to prosecute you. You understand that? That will be the purpose of that sermons. Speak to the minds of the people. Tell them, after Ramadan, let Ramadan continues. So when we go, that is the last thing I want to say about this conversation. When you are going, it is expected that you go from one way, you come from another way. That will lead us to the issue of the road safety. Because if you go through one way and you are coming through the same way, of course there will be a blockage. You can see the philosophy of religion. Prophet says that when you are going to the Eid, go through one way, then come back through another way, so that the traffic will not cause what we call bottleneck. There will be ease in the regulation of traffic. So try to observe that as Nigerians. As we are going to the Eid, use road A. As we are coming back, use road B, so that people using road A will not be obstructed as we are coming back. Then live in peace with one another. Don't shout on people. Don't ride your vehicle as if you are celebrating what do you call it, I don't know why people, they will be doing motor something on the road.
Loud music,
because you are doing it. No, it's a time of reflection, soberly, for you to say, God, I thank you. Show that reflection to God. He said, Kul bifadlillah, with Allah's bounty, wa bifadli, wa birahmati, and his mercy, for bizalika faliyafrahu. With that, show your happiness. That is, show that God, reflect that God, you bless me, I complete Ramadan. So don't do big. We are not doing party in the normal party way that we do. So people that you see on the road who are doing excessive driving on the high speed, arrest them, enforce your laws on them, because those people have broken the laws of God. First. And they don't deserve to be spared. So that is number one. Those people who also commit public nuisance, police also are also there. I am a lawyer by profession and I practice daily. That is my core. So as a litigator, you need to arrest and prosecute whoever that commits public nuisance. So we don't need to blare our siren in the name of it. Do it with moderation. Do it with godliness and fear of God. Go back home. After you go back home, you can now be receiving your guest, your visitor. And like I say, I will say that again and I will harp on it. If you don't have new clothes, Islam doesn't say that you should wear new clothes to eat. You can wash the one you have. I can go with this one. I just wear it this morning. Go home, wrap it. Come back home. After all, poverty is been there forever. Even if you say things are hard now, it's been hard yesterday. That is why the word poverty is found in the dictionary. That is why fakir is also found in the dictionary of Islam. So we are not insulated from poverty, from crisis, from shortages. So don't think you have to go overboard or to go out of your way in order for you to do salah. Let your children also know that this is how it is, and come back home, eat what you have, and that ends the celebration of the Salah, EID-EL-FITR that we are saying, so that we end the reward of it.
Is there a particular meal you should eat for EID-EL-FITR?
No. But when you are going to the Eid, it is expected that you eat early. But in the Eid, the other Eid, it is expected that when you sacrifice, that is when you should eat. And you should even eat from the animals that you sacrifice to God. But in this one, eat early. There is no any particular meal. You can eat amala, you can eat damwaki, you can eat ofueweri. Anything you want to eat, anything you want to eat.
So thank you very much. we are really running out of time, but let me quickly head to Jos and get Dr. Habila Joshak to get his closing remarks, which I don't know if it can be on an advisory note to both Nigerians and operatives who will be in the field, and communities as well.
It's been said before, but I want to emphasize that we're all aware of the situation in this country, the insecurity, particularly, people wanting to get rich quick. And in doing that, they have to go to humans to pick and hold onto and ask for ransom. The government alone cannot do that. The security agencies cannot do that alone. The communities in the various areas where this thing is happening must be able to come together and look at what is happening and also participate. It is the information that we give to the security that is converted into intelligence. And if we do that, we'll have a lot of improvement, we'll have a lot of ability to climb on these individuals. Otherwise, if we sit and we create the spirit of I don't care, and the spirit of citizenship is not in us, then we will continue to live with these people, and then it will be a very bad omen. So I ask that every one of us must be security in themselves and learn to create eagle eye to see those who are committing this crime, because they're in the community. And so this is one big factor that can reduce to the barest minimum all this crisis that is happening, this kidnapping and what have you, in all the states of the Federation.
Thank you so much, Dr. Joshak. Of course, your advice is timely. I'd like to get to Comrade Adeniyi now in a few seconds. Your words of advice to the transporters and then to the passengers.
My advice to the transporters is that they should ensure strictly adherent to the rule to ensure that their vehicle are in good condition, and also the driver should not overspeed, no overloading, no overspeed, and the commuters should also be conscious. If your driver wants to be overspeeding or overtaking, you should caution them that no, take it easy. So those are very important things, and they should be wary of where there's bad road. They should go slowly to ensure that they pass there safely. And we can say that is the little thing we have to say now. We call on our commuters to bear with us and to ensure that our driver have not overspeed on the road. Thank you.
All right, Honey Ogundayo, you have words of advice?
Yes. I want to tell our people that only the living celebrate. And when they are going on the road, they should avoid excessive speed. They should avoid overloading. Just like the Chief Imam talked about, you should not kill another person. Make sure another child did not die through your carelessness on the road. And I need to also inform our people that in a renewed relationship with the Nigeria Bar Association, any driver that kills anybody on the road will be prosecuted after diligent investigation. So please, as you go on the road, don't engage in lane indiscipline, making phone calls while driving. All those is distracted driving. Please avoid it so that we have a safe journey back home.
All right, so Chief Imam, your last words.
Yes, thank you. Yes, I want to appeal to the religious leaders, especially the imams, that we should be translating the words of khutbah, that sermons that we are going to give tomorrow. We should have the opportunity of translating it into the language that the people in the community will understand, because the content of that khutbah is to speak to the mind of the people, and it's a good platform that we are going to have tomorrow all around the country. tell them to shun corruption, to shun kidnapping, to shun driving in high speed, to live within the boundaries of God, to also live post-Ramadan, just like the way we were living in Ramadan, when we were saying no evil, when we were saying no evil, when we were committing no evil. So we should allow that thing to be our manual and the way we will live around the year. With that, we will build this nation and we will come out as victorious at the end of the day.
All right. Imam Mustafa Agbarere, Chief Imam, Peace Court Estate, Central Mosque, Local Goma, Abuja, we thank you for coming on the program.
I thank you for having me.
Let's also thank Honey Ogudayo of the FRSC. She's Deputy Corps Commander, Corps Public Education Office. Thank you for your insights on the program.
Thank you very much.
Also, Comrade Yusuf Ibrahim Adeni, National Secretary General, Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria. We thank you for coming on Good Morning Nigeria.
Thank you.
As we thank Dr. Habila Joshak, retired DIG of Police in charge of operations. Thank you for your time and thoughts.
Thank you for having me.
That's Good Morning Nigeria for today. We thank you for watching. I'm Victor Azu. I'll see you again tomorrow.
I'm Henry John. Remember, many more celebrations ahead. Stay alive.